Okay, let's do this. Have you ever poured like all your energy into creating something amazing in Fortnite Creative or UFN, you hit publish, and then crickets?
Oh, yeah.
It feels like your island just vanished, right?
Mhm.
You are definitely not alone there.
No, not at all. Getting your brilliant creation noticed in that huge sea of stuff in Fortnite Discover, well, it's a massive challenge for pretty much everyone.
It really is. You build this cool experience. Players are out there looking for things, but actually making that connection, getting
Mhm.
seen, that can feel like the toughest part.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of all that is this system, the Fortnite Discover Algorithm.
Mm.
So that's what we're really digging into today. We've gone into a bunch of sources, articles, some research, even insights from creators themselves to try and, peek behind the curtain a bit.
Yeah, pull it back.
Our mission really is to demystify this thing for you, our listener. Whether you're like super experienced or just starting to figure out how algorithms even work in games like this,
Mm.
we want to help show a clearer path for getting your islands played.
Right. So maybe before we jump straight into Fortnite specifics, let's just quickly cover the basics. What is an algorithm anyway?
Good idea.
The sources we looked at define it pretty simply. It's basically just a set sequence of instructions, or like a method, a procedure
Hmm.
to solve a problem or do a task.
Sounds techy, but it's not really new, is it?
Not at all. The idea is ancient. The word itself actually comes from a ninth century mathematician, Al-Khwarizmi.
See, it's not some like magic black box. Think about a recipe.
Yeah,
That's a perfect example of the source's gift.
totally, like baking cookies.
Exactly. Your problem.
Yeah?
You want cookies. The
Yep.
recipe, that's the algorithm. It gives you steps, right? Preheat oven, mix this, add that, bake for this long at that temp,
So the steps.
and bam, cookies, hopefully good cookies. You solve the problem using a set procedure.
And that leads to this other cool idea the sources mentioned, algorithmic thinking.
Ah, yeah.
It's about tackling any problem in a systematic way. You define the problem clearly, break it down into smaller bits, figure out how to solve each bit, put it together, do it, and then maybe even refine it.
That step-by-step approach.
Yeah,
It's super useful for anything complex, even creative stuff like building a game island.
definitely. Okay, so how does this apply to games, specifically Fortnite?
Well, in programming, an algorithm tells the computer not just what to do, but exactly how to do it. And games, they use algorithms for, like, everything.
Oh, yeah. Matchmaking is a big one, right?
Mm-hmm. Skill-based matchmaking, SBMM in Fortnite, that's an algorithm trying to make matches fairer by grouping players with similar skills.
It looks at your KD, win rate, all that stuff.
And, the sources do mention this can cause some frustration in the community sometimes.
Right, like the whole crossplay lobby balance thing, trying to match skill across different inputs, different hardware. It gets tricky.
Yeah, and you can't just turn SBMM off in Fortnite's main modes, the sources say. It's always there, shaping who you play against. If you wanted easier games, you technically have to play worse, which nobody wants to do that.
Ah, no. So it's constantly working in the background. Now, what about AI? That buzzword is everywhere.
It is. The sources mention AI in a couple of contexts. Some gaming platforms use it to suggest teammates based on your style, like GameTree.
Okay.
And Epic themselves uses AI, kind of mixed with human review, for moderation, like catching UEFN scams, fake rewards, stolen maps, that kind of nasty stuff.
Right, keeping things fair and safe.
But here's an important point from the sources about AI and Discover specifically. Epic talks a lot about personalization being the goal, right? Showing you islands you'll probably like.
Makes sense.
But the sources we have don't actually spell out if or how AI is being used right now in the main recommendation algorithm itself, the part that decides what you see.
Ah, okay. So they want personalization, but the mechanics they describe for Discover's current recommendations, those seem focused more on specific player actions these metrics we'll get into.
Exactly. So AI is definitely part of the wider Fortnite ecosystem, but its exact role in the Discover recommendation engine, that's not detailed in what we read.
Gotcha. Which leads us nicely to Fortnite Discover itself. Epic basically says it's their system to help players find cool new stuff to play.
And crucially, to connect creators, like you maybe, with players who will actually enjoy what you've built.
Yeah, the big goal, Epic says, is serving that super diverse player base. People who like competitive maps, chills, social hangouts, crazy creative modes, everything.
And they specifically mention supporting creators who are making innovative, like boundary-pushing experiences. And that push towards personalization is key, getting the right island to the right player.
And this is important because, as the sources note, there was a time when the community felt Discover was Well, not great.
Yeah, terrible was a word used. People couldn't find new things, maybe even stop playing because of it.
So the current situation is framed as Epic really trying, like actively working to fix that connection.
And a huge part of that connection, highlighted in the sources, is that favorite a creator feature.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
It's player-driven discovery. You favorite someone, you get their updates. The sources said click-through rates on updates from favorited creators can be insane, like 70%.
Wow, 70%.
Right. That's Epic saying, okay, build your own audience.
Yeah.
It lets creators nurture relationships directly, not just hope the algorithm finds them players. It's a really vital piece.
Absolutely. But the algorithm is still working away, especially for finding you initially or filling out those personalized feeds. And according to our sources, it boils down to three main metrics for every island:
3 core pillars.
attraction, engagement, and satisfaction. These combine somehow into an overall Discover score.
And that score influences how visible you are, especially in places like the For You section right now, with plans for more personalization later.
Okay, let's break those down. First up, attraction.
Makes sense. Getting noticed.
Exactly. How well does your island grab attention and make someone actually click on it? The metrics here are clicks per impression, or CTR. That's just a ratio. How many clicks did you get compared to how many times your island's tile was shown?
Okay, so 100 views, 5 clicks. That's 5% CTR.
You got it. And an impression counts if the tile is fully visible for 2 seconds or if they click it anyway. It basically measures how good your thumbnail and title are.
Got it. What else for attraction?
Minutes played per impression. This looks at the total time played on your island divided by those impressions. So 100 impressions, 1,000 total minutes played. That's 10 minutes per impression.
Ah, so it's not just the click, it's whether the click leads to actual playtime.
Precisely. Does seeing it lead to sustained play? And the third one is percentage of players who leave.
Ooh, yeah. The early drop-off.
Exactly. How many people bail within the first 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes? If that number's high, it's a bad sign. Your initial hook isn't working.
Okay, so attraction gets them in the door, then comes engagement.
Right. This is about keeping them playing and making them want to come back. Key metrics here include
Like what?
session engagement. Basically, how long do they stay in one go? Longer sessions equal better engagement.
Makes sense.
Retention, do they return? Sources specifically mention day 1 retention coming back the next day and day 7 retention coming back a week later. High retention means your island is sticky.
Yeah, that they actually liked it enough to remember it.
Then there's unique players. Just the count of different individuals playing over a recent period, maybe 96 hours, shows your reach.
Okay.
And social playtime, how much time is spent playing while in a party with friends.
Interesting. And there was a catch with engagement, right? Something about idle time.
Yes, this is crucial. Sources are clear. Discover does not count idle time. If a player gives 0 input, no movement, no buttons for 60 seconds or more, that minute and any following idle minutes don't count towards your engagement score.
Wow. Okay, so if you made like a chill hangout map where people just chat or one of those AFK XP maps,
The algorithm essentially ignores that time. It's looking for active play.
that's a really important detail for creators.
Huge. The sources really push using the Creator Portal tools, Project Analytics, the Insights dashboard to track this stuff. Look at session time, retention, minutes per player. Understand what players are actually doing.
Got it. Attraction, engagement. What's the third one?
Satisfaction. This is Epic trying to gauge the quality of the experience, how players feel about it.
How do they measure feelings?
Good question. 2 main ways mentioned. Endorsements. This is when players favorite your island or recommend it after playing.
Ah, the thumbs up or the heart.
Exactly. It's a direct signal they liked it. It ties back into that player-driven discovery, too.
Okay. And the other way.
Post-match surveys. Sometimes players get a little pop-up asking them to rate fun, quality, difficulty, stuff like that.
Ah, I've seen those.
Yeah, but the sources say it's pretty infrequent. Only about 2% of players get one after a match, and you can only get any survey once every 14 days. Plus, not all surveys are even related to Discover scoring.
So endorsements seem like the more direct, player-driven signal for satisfaction. The surveys are maybe a smaller piece of the puzzle.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, attraction, engagement, satisfaction, they all feed that Discover score, which impacts your visibility. It's about the whole journey. Getting the click, keeping them playing, making them happy, and hopefully getting them to come back and recommend it.
Right. It's a lot to juggle. Knowing the metrics is one thing, but what do you do about them?
This is where that algorithmic thinking comes back. based on the sources, we can list some clear do's and don'ts.
Okay, let's hear the DOs first. What should creators focus on?
DO, nail your thumbnail and title. That's crucial for attraction, for CTR. DO, design your intro to hook players fast and keep them engaged past those first few minutes. That hits minutes played per impression and lowers early leaving.
The blame.
DO, builds something players want to return to. Retention is huge for engagement. Do encourage players to favorite and recommend. Those endorsements matter for satisfaction and direct audience building.
Use the tools.
Absolutely. Do constantly check your analytics and insights. The data tells the story. Do iterate based on that data and feedback. DO, plan your work systematically. And DO, try to make something innovative for your target audience. That fits Epic's vision.
Okay, solid advice. What about the pitfalls? What don't creators do?
Don't design sections where players are just idle for long periods. Remember that time doesn't count for engagement. Don't just start building without a plan or understanding the goal. Use that algorithmic thinking.
Right. Plan first.
Don't rely only on the algorithm. Build your community. Encourage those favorites. And a big one, don't do scammy stuff, fake rewards, stealing maps. It kills trust and breaks rules.
Yeah, definitely avoid that. Okay, let's make this concrete. Can we walk through a quick example?
Sure. Imagine you're a creator. You check your stats. Your CTR is great. People are clicking.
Nice.
But your minutes played per impression is low, and lots of people leave in the first 5 minutes.
Okay, so attraction is good, but engagement is weak early on.
Exactly. So, algorithmic thinking time. Problem, early drop-off. Break it down. Why are they leaving? You check your analytics like the sources suggest.
What might you find?
Maybe there's a pattern. They always leave after hitting like a confusing objective. Or maybe the first fight is way too hard. Or they just don't get what they're supposed to do.
Right, so you pinpoint the issue using the data.
Then you act. Your solution, or first attempt, is to fix that specific part. Redesign it, add clearer instructions, maybe tune the difficulty down at the start.
Implement the change?
And then this is key. You monitor the data again. Did the early leaving rate go down? Did minutes played per impression go up? If yes, great. If not, okay, try something else. Iterate. Use the metrics to guide your design.
That systematic approach makes sense. It sounds like being organized is pretty important here.
Yeah, one source specifically recommended creating a marketing action plan. They stressed that planning is key to sort of mastering the algorithm.
Did they suggest any tools?
They did. Mention things like Asana, Notion, Trello. Even noted that Epic uses Trello internally.
Cool. And they had a simple plan structure.
Yeah, phase, task, owner, due date, and KPI, key performance indicator.
And you could make those KPIs directly related to Discover metrics, right?
Totally. Instead of make 6 images, your KPI could be improve CTR to X%, or increase day 1 retention by Y%, or boost average session to Z minutes.
Ah, I see. Having a plan like that makes it less overwhelming. It turns get better on Discover into actual steps you can take and measure.
Exactly. It gives you a framework to tackle improvements systematically based on the data the algorithm itself is providing you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. We defined algorithms, saw how they work in games like with SBMM, talked about Fortnite Discover, unpacked those key metrics: attraction, engagement, satisfaction.
Yep. And went through strategies, the do's and don'ts based on the sources, saw how to use algorithmic thinking with an example, and how planning helps.
The big takeaway seems to be that mastering the algorithm isn't some dark art. It's more about systematic problem solving, using data to understand players and designing better experiences because of it.
Precisely. It's about understanding what the system values, active play, retention, satisfaction, and building your island to deliver that genuinely.
All right, so here's something for you, our listener, to think about. A little action item. If you have an island, go look at your data in the Creator Portal. If not, just think about the islands you really enjoy playing. Based on attraction, engagement, and satisfaction, which of those feels like your island's strongest point right now? Or for the islands you play, what makes them strong in those areas? And which area seems like the weakest?
And then the challenge. Can you identify one small, specific task you could put on a plan this week? Something concrete to address that weakest metric based on what we talked about.
Just start thinking algorithmically about your creation. It's not about cheating the system. It's about understanding it to make something players will truly connect with and enjoy. Good luck out there, creators.